Mission Control, we have a UFO facing our position. Request instruction. Astronaut Katie Coleman. NASA transmission, shuttle mission STS-73. UFOs have been one of the greatest phenomena of all time. Since the beginning of time to modern day, the UFO mystery has always been upon us and has always baffled man. Ever since the 5th grade, the UFO and extraterrestrial topic has fascinated me. I would visit the library often and read countless books about the connection between UFOs and foreign life. Over the years, I have read many sources, seen several videos, and have looked at hundreds of photos and have come to the conclusion that UFOs indeed do exist. Now that I am an adult, I still have an interest in the subject. So, I took an opportunity to elaborate on this topic. Today I will introduce to you the reality of UFOs and show you how it is parallel to the existence of extraterrestrial life. I will go through the probabilities of their existence, the ancient history behind the UFO theory, unexplained sightings, and my personal experience and encounter. Probability. What are the actual possibilities of an actual human-like being coexisting with us? Now when I say human-like, I don't mean microorganisms or bacteria, but actual intelligent life. Probability. With a modern telescope, you are able to see about 50 billion galaxies in our 50 billion galaxies, but in reality, we know that we cannot see the whole universe through a telescope. So we estimate that there are about 100 billion galaxies in our universe. Every one of those galaxies containing 100 billion stars. So when we do the math, we come up with 100 billion squared. That totals up to give us a product of 10 sextillion stars. We know that many of these stars contain a planetary system just like ours. So when we stop and think and realize that how many stars actually exist in our solar system, universe, infinite amount of universes, possibilities are astronomers. A planet, okay, so when you ask yourself, if aliens really do exist, then why don't they come down here to visit us? Well, physicists Michio Kaku quotes, if there was an anthill in the middle of the forest, and right next to the anthill there was a building, they were building a 10-lane superhighway. And the question is, would the ants be able to communicate or understand what a 10-lane superhighway is? Would the ants be able to understand the technology or intentions of building a 10-lane superhighway? That's however you say you went down to the ants and said, I bring you trinkets, I bring you beats, I bring you knowledge, I bring you nuclear energy, take me to your leader. Is that what would you say to ants? No. I guess what the quote's trying to say here is that if there really are advanced civilizations beyond our imagination, would they actually want or are interested in visiting our planet? We've only been around for maybe a couple hundred years with that advanced technology. They're millions of light years ahead of us. That was the case. Ancient history. UFOs have been reported since the beginning of man, but in reality the existence of UFO presence dates back to even before modern civilized man. We now know that ancient cave art dates back to 20,000 years in France and in Spain. And in these caves there are drawings that look like modern flying saucers. Old ancient Indian culture from North and South America, and even like the Mayans and Aztecs, or even the ancient Egyptians or the old Iraq, all have similar stories behind their ancient civilizations. All the ancient texts of drawings state that these people have made contact with foreign civilizations from another planet. They describe different kinds of flying vehicles piloted by various categories of living beings. Many of the objects those civilizations have left behind would resemble what we call in modern day gray aliens, beings that have large heads, large eyes, long arms and legs, and thin bodies. Famous unexplained sightings, the Battle of Los Angeles. In 1942, just 3 months after the attack of Pearl Harbor, an incident occurred, and it lasted from from February 24th to February 25th. There were several unidentified flying objects over LA. At first, everyone believed it was another airstrike from Japan, but the truth was these objects were a mystery and no one knew exactly what they were. Another incident would be the Lubeck lights. In 1951, an unusual formation of lights flew over Texas, witnessed by 3 professors from the technical college and later photographed by a student. The Lubeck lights were 30 UFO flying objects in the middle of the night. They fly in a V-shaped formation. The Washington, D.C. incident. This incident was caught with the radio transmitter. It was also seen through the naked eye. 7 objects at night moved in a strange flight pattern that no modern flying vehicle would be able to manipulate. This incident left the president baffled. One of the most famous cases for UFO sightings will probably have to be the Roswell case that most of you are probably already familiar with. This one was recorded in 1980. This one was recorded in 1947. And what had happened was an ancient aircraft that crashed in the desert of New Mexico. This incident has led to one of the biggest mysteries in U.S. history and still is debated to this day. Personal experience. I personally have been fortunate enough to have had my own personal encounters with the UFO in not one occasion, but 2 separate occasions. The first occasion occurred on a Sunday around 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I was in the city of Cypress in a commercial parking lot waiting for a friend. I laid on the hood of my car waiting. That night the sky seemed darker than usual, so as I gazed at the stars, they appeared to be a lot closer and brighter. I must have been staring into the sky for at least 10 minutes when what seemed to be the biggest star started to move back and forth in a horizontal direction. It did that for about a minute and finally elevated higher and higher into the sky until I was no longer able to see it. The second one was maybe 2 months ago this year. I saw, it was around 12 o'clock. I was with my friend at the skate park, and we were able to see a glowing sphere traveling back and forth about like 50 feet up in the air, and we actually filmed it with a smartphone. So in conclusion, we are a single planet revolving around a star. We are in the middle of an infinite amount of space. It is not logical to think that we are the only life in this astronomical universe. I hope you have taken some of the things I have said into consideration, and for the non-believers, I hope you think twice about the reality we live in. Thank you.
Alex, did we plug you in to do an oral evaluation before?
No.
Could you do the oral evaluation on this speech, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, the topic was something I really don't pay too much attention to, so it was nice to hear something that different. For the most part, you were reading the speech. You could have had a lot better eye contact. The tone of your voice was kind of the same throughout the whole speech. And I like the personal story. It added a little more, but the evidence wasn't really cited, so I wasn't sure where you were getting all this stuff from.
Okay. Thank you. I know it was kind of last minute, but I appreciate